What if I told you that the mental anxiety you've been battling, the racing thoughts, the tightness in your chest, the endless search for relief, is not what you think it is? It feels like a force controlling your life, but Carl Jung uncovered something astonishing. This anxiety is not your enemy, it's a message. What you're feeling is not random, it's a signal from the deepest parts of your mind, trying to tell you something vital. But most people never decode it. They fight against it, suppress it, and in doing so, they become trapped, locked in a cycle of fear and discomfort. But it doesn't have to be this way. Jung's hidden insights reveal how you can not only quiet this mental storm but eliminate its grip over you, permanently. This is not about surface-level tricks or quick-fix breathing techniques. It's about understanding the source of your anxiety, deep within your unconscious mind, and transforming your relationship with it forever. Stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you'll understand why your anxiety is not what you thought, and more importantly, you'll know exactly how to free yourself from it and step into a life of clarity, calm, and inner strength. Anxiety often feels like a necessary shield, like your mind is protecting you from danger by keeping you on high alert. You might believe that this constant mental scanning is helping you stay prepared, that without it, something terrible could happen. But Jung uncovered a deeper truth: this mental vigilance is an illusion of control. Anxiety tricks you into believing that if you think through every scenario, anticipate every outcome, you can prevent disaster. But have you noticed? It never truly works. You run through the same fears over and over, yet the clarity you seek never comes. Instead, you feel drained, your focus shattered, your body tense, your life slipping by while you remain trapped in your mind. Anxiety is not protecting you. It is stealing from you. It robs you of your energy, your creativity, and your ability to experience life as it is, right here, in this moment. If you continue to let it dominate your mind, you won't just feel uneasy, you risk losing your sense of self. Your days will blur into a constant struggle to keep your fears at bay. But if you learn to approach anxiety the way Jung did, you can reclaim your mind. You can stop living under the weight of imagined threats and finally breathe, fully and freely. The first step to breaking free from mental anxiety is understanding what it truly is. Jung taught that anxiety is not just random discomfort, it is the voice of the unconscious trying to get your attention. When you feel anxious, it is often because a part of you, hidden beneath the surface, has been ignored for too long. It could be a fear you've buried, a desire you've denied, or a truth you've avoided. Jung called this the shadow, the collection of parts of yourself that you push away because they seem too painful, too shameful, or too dangerous to face. But these parts do not disappear. They gather strength in the darkness and manifest as anxiety. Your mind races, your heart pounds, your chest tightens, not because you are broken, but because something within you is knocking on the door, desperate to be seen. Most people respond by trying to silence the knock. They distract themselves, suppress their thoughts, or seek temporary comfort. But this only makes the shadow louder over time. Jung's approach is different. He taught that the way out is through. Anxiety is a call to turn inward, to meet the parts of yourself you've rejected and finally listen to what they have to say. When you do, the tension begins to loosen. What once felt like a chaotic storm becomes something you can understand, something you can work with. This is not about getting rid of anxiety overnight. It's about building a relationship with your inner world, so that anxiety is no longer an enemy, but a guide leading you toward wholeness. Jung believed that much of our anxiety arises because we are disconnected from our true self. You might feel anxious not because something is wrong with you, but because you are living out of alignment with who you really are. From a young age, we learn to shape ourselves to fit the expectations of others, our parents, teachers, friends, society. We adapt, often without realizing it. We smile when we're sad. We say yes when we want to say no. We pursue careers, relationships, and lifestyles that seem right on the surface, but deep down, they don't reflect who we truly are. Over time, this creates inner conflict. Your authentic self, the part of you that knows what you need, what you love, what makes you feel alive, becomes buried. And anxiety rises as a warning signal. It's your psyche's way of telling you, you are not being true to yourself. Jung called the process of rediscovering your authentic self individuation. It's the journey of peeling away the false layers you've built up and reconnecting with your inner truth. This doesn't mean you have to abandon your responsibilities or reject the life you've built. It means you begin to listen, to notice when you are acting out of fear or obligation, rather than from your own values and desires. It means asking yourself, whose life am I living? Mine, or someone else's? When you start aligning your outer life with your inner self, something remarkable happens. Anxiety begins to fade. Not because you've forced it away, but because the reason it was there, your soul's longing for authenticity, is finally being heard. One of the greatest causes of mental anxiety, Jung observed, is our resistance to uncertainty. The human mind craves control, it wants to know what will happen next, to feel certain that everything will be okay. But life is not certain. It never has been. And the harder you try to control it, the more anxious you become. You analyze every possibility. You rehearse conversations before they happen. You imagine disasters that may never come. All because you are trying to create safety in a world that is, by its nature, unpredictable. Jung believed that this resistance to uncertainty is rooted in fear, the fear of the unknown, the fear of losing what you love, the fear of suffering. And yet, he also believed that freedom lies in the opposite direction. The key is not to eliminate uncertainty but to surrender to it. Surrender does not mean giving up. It means accepting that you cannot control everything, and realizing that you do not need to. Life is not meant to be perfectly managed, it is meant to be lived. When you surrender, you shift from fear to trust. You begin to see that you can handle whatever comes your way. That you are resilient, capable, and stronger than you realize. You stop trying to predict the future, and instead, you meet life as it unfolds, moment by moment. And in that space, anxiety loses its power. You are no longer fighting reality. You are flowing with it. Jung's concept of synchronicity reveals something profound about this flow of life. He believed that life is not just random chaos, it is filled with meaningful connections, patterns, and moments of guidance that cannot be explained by logic alone. You've likely experienced this before. A chance encounter that changed your path. A book that appeared at just the right time. An answer you needed arriving when you least expected it. But anxiety blinds you to these moments. When your mind is tangled in fear, constantly scanning for threats, you become closed off to the subtle guidance life is offering you. You miss the signs. You overlook the opportunities. You dismiss the gentle nudges steering you toward growth. Jung taught that when you let go of control and open yourself to life's natural rhythm, you begin to see these patterns more clearly. You notice the coincidences that are not coincidences. You feel the invisible thread connecting your experiences. This is not magic. It is the reality of living in alignment. When you step out of anxiety and into trust, life begins to work with you, not against you. You no longer need to force every outcome. You begin to move with the current, rather than fight against it. And in that state, you experience something rare, the ease of being carried forward by life itself. Anxiety is replaced by a quiet confidence, the sense that you are exactly where you need to be, and that life is unfolding as it should. Jung believed that the ultimate freedom from anxiety comes from reconnecting with something deeper, the self. Not the version of you shaped by fear, or by the expectations of others, but the part of you that is whole, steady, and unshaken by life's storms. This self is always there. Beneath the noise of worry. Beneath the racing thoughts. It is the silent observer, the part of you that can witness your anxiety without being consumed by it. When you connect with this inner core, you realize a truth that changes everything: you are not your anxiety. You are not your fears. You are the one who sees them. Jung's work reminds us that anxiety is not a curse. It is a signal. A guide. It points you to what is unresolved within you. It invites you to look inward, to heal, and to grow. The path out is not to fight it, but to listen. To face your shadow. To realign with your true self. To surrender to the uncertainty of life. And to trust that, beneath it all, you are already enough. Letting go of anxiety is not a one-time victory. It is a practice. There will be days when the tension returns, when the fear rises. But each time it does, you have a choice, to react with resistance or to respond with understanding. Over time, the grip of anxiety loosens. You begin to live, not from a place of fear, but from a place of trust, presence, and inner peace. And when you do, you don't just eliminate anxiety. You reclaim your life.